Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So the first 7 is what Imam Ali said, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that this was for trust, building trust between parents and children. The second 7 is to build friendship with the, building discipline with the children. And the third is to actually build friendship with the children.
The first is
trust, second is discipline, and the third is friendship. Then after the third 7, which is 21 years of age, you then let them go free in that regard. Now there's a meaning behind all of this that needs to be explained. This does not mean that in the first 7 years you don't discipline. You actually must discipline, but you discipline out of trust. In the second 7 years, it doesn't mean there's no trust building, but you build trust through discipline. So every one of these actually is connected to each other. So the way it actually works is to actually understand this way. Psychologically, we know, and there's a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said, do not let your eye move away from your child for the first 3 years, for you are building aman with the child, you're building trust with the child. It's a psychological fact that if children do not build trust with their parents in the first 2 to 3 years, they'll become problematic when they come post 15 years. They will have trust problems, they will have rebellion problems, they will even no longer actually want to actually have relationships with parents. In the Western world, this is seen very, very commonly. This is where you're holding your baby, for them to actually have skin touch, for example, for them to actually, when they fall, that you are there for them, not mothering them for them not to experience things like that, but for them to know that you are there for them. This first 2 to 3 years is extremely important for them to actually have that experience of trust, that when they feel slightly lost, you are there for them in that regard. So trust is this important thing. But the first 7 years, the trust really is about the ability for them to know that you are always there for them and helping them. So I'll give you an example of this. Is this glass?
Yeah. It's glass.
So imagine your little one gets on top of the glass over here on the table. This is not the time to tell, oh, look at my son, he's so exciting. Because he doesn't know this is glass, right? Because then he'll go to some place where there's weaker glass and he'll jump on it as well. And he doesn't know any better, and he could actually hurt themselves. If they did hurt themselves in that second place, it's the first step to breaking trust. Why did my parents not tell me about it here? That's what the connection, they're making those kind of connections. We are making connections like, oh my God, my child is so naughty and all that kind of stuff. They're making connection of trust in this period of time. So the way you would do it in the first 7 years is that when say for example, a 4-year-old gets on top of over here, or a 2-year-old gets on top over here, you teach them discipline by letting them trust that what you're trying to do for them is good for them, right? But you do it in a playful manner. So discipline will be that you don't sort of go, Sadiq, get off the table, and then you walk away. No, because the child is not making any connection. So what you do is you stay here with them, even if it takes you 5 minutes, and you play with them. Darling, come over. This is dangerous. It's going to break. You actually speak to them, but you're letting them being there, that you are there for them. So they'll ultimately get off the thing and actually move away from that regard. So discipline was done that I'm not gonna let go of this one. I'm gonna get you off the table, but I'm gonna do it in a manner that you feel comfortable, that you feel trusting, that I'm not hurting you. I'm not doing this because I'm angry. I'm doing this because I care for you, right? You don't have to say any of that, but your presence and your playful nature and your commitment, determined way to say, I want you off this, but I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to do it in a nice way. This happens 3, 4 years, 5 years. By the time they come to the 7th year, you're now moving into discipline, because they know by this time that when you do this, you are not doing because you're angry. A lot of times parents, what actually happens in countries like Australia, say for example, a parent is watching television. The children can do whatever they want. They're jumping around, they're dropping things, nobody says anything. But the child comes in front of the television, because the parent's view is blocked, they now want to discipline him. The child's too smart. The child goes, okay, hang on, I was running around there, you didn't have a problem, but I'm running around here, you've got a problem. So that you're breaking trust with the child, and you're not developing any discipline, because the principle is don't run around. Behave yourself inside a house in that manner, right? So sometimes when parents will say, because you blocked my view, obviously they don't say that, but the discipline, you're a naughty kid, go to your room, you're grounded. The child is not making any connection. What did I do naughty? I was running there is the same thing. I was running here is the same thing. They're not making any connection. As opposed to you actually talking to the child and explaining to the child. So by the time the 7th year comes and the 7, 8, 9, 10, now if a child gets of it, most likely they will never come of it because you've been teaching them all this time. When they're now starting to actually get over here, you can tell the child, Arshad, off the table. You see, now, baby, come over has changed to Arshad, off the table. We all know, right? I'm pretty sure you all know, like, I remember my father, he used to look at you in a particular way.
Yeah.
And that was all, he didn't have to say a word. A normal look will be like, just behave yourself. Like, you're crossing the line. It's like, that's it. When you go home, you're going to get it, right? so you know just by the look, right? So the same thing now, when you say to, him, Arshad, come off the table, man. He'll know you're playing with him. But Arshad, I need you to be off the table. They know that you are actually now talking to them in a very serious manner. So that trust has developed them that they can trust you by your words. You don't have to do anything with your hands. You don't have to hit them or anything like that at all. Discipline is coming because they can connect you in that regard. But this time is also now to develop friendship, because remember the next 7 years is coming. So the next 7 years, to prepare yourself, discipline must come with explanation and must come with also that you actually give them alternatives. So for example, this is going to break, man. Come sit down over here, or go find something else. You give them alternatives, for example, or you sit down and actually explain to them. Never treat children as if they don't understand. Use obviously simpler words, but they will always understand. Always understand. So don't. One of the examples I use is that one of the most important elements for children's growth is language. So in English, say for example, when a child is like 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, they'll call a truck takiwaki. So you teach a child firstly takiwaki, then by the time the child comes 7, you're not teaching him, no, it's not a takiwaki, it's a truck. The child's confused, right? But at a 1 year old, you teach the child it's a truck. Trust me, they will understand it very, very well when they come to 7 years of age, right? So there's a lot of implicit learning going on rather than explicit learning all this time. But now from 9, 10, 11, 12, it's becoming explicit learning. Discipline and learning, explaining, sitting down with them in a friendly manner, no longer like a father manner, but more like a friendly manner. Hand on their shoulders, man, come on, when you're naughty, man, this is just not good, man. You're able to talk to them at their level, and they feel that you are not bossing them around, but you're actually talking to them. So by the time you're actually moving into the 14th year, your disciplining is no longer an issue. You're now moving into the world of friendship. That I'm not here to discipline you, I'm here to actually be your friend. This is the time when the parents have to particularly, both parents, in fact, not only just one, if the child loves, soccer, then you don't actually have to go and play soccer with the child all the time, but you need to spend time with them to actually do those things that they like. They also need to be able to be nurtured to the things that you might like. So you might love, going to a cafe, for example, and have a coffee. Take your child not because you're going as a family, but you go, I've got 3 children, let me take Arshad alone. Give him a treat. It's like buddy system here. So now you're actually more creating buddy kind of arrangements rather than like, I'm the father or I'm the mother, we're taking the family together. You need to actually give them individuality. Treat them at very individual level. So that by the time they come to 19, 20, 21, they have had their trust built with you, they've had their discipline built with you, and hopefully good friendship that they can now be open with you. So when they have the difficulties of their lives, when they have the challenges of their lives, they can come and talk to you. And they can move on with trust. I'll give you an example in terms of trust and how they can talk to you. One of the things I used to say to my daughters, my middle daughter once actually, I clearly saw her, she was 5, 6 years of age, she dropped the glass and ran away, not realizing I saw it, and blamed her younger sister. Typical, it's just children, right? That's what they're going to do. So I sat down with her. At that point of time, I didn't say anything. I helped. I said, you're going to help me come and collect this. So we helped out together, chuck the whole glass out. Then what I actually did was, I took her for an outing. This is only 6 years of age at this point of time. We went out, and I think we were in the playground, and then I had a chat with her. Come on, man, I saw you. It was you who broke it. I didn't scold her. It was you who broke it. You should have just told me. So anytime in the future something actually happens, if you come and tell me honestly, I will help you. But if you lie to me, you're going to get in trouble. Right? And you know what actually happened to her in school? In school, some of her older friends actually were bringing really, really terrible magazines. And she was caught out in school to actually also be part of the friends, actually sitting down, actually, watching this magazine. That afternoon, she comes over to me and she tells me immediately the whole story, exactly what actually had happened in the school, as opposed to hiding and saying, look, whatever happened, I wasn't a part of it. By her being able to actually speak about something so sensitive, only came because at 6 and 7 years of age, I said, it's okay. If there's any trouble in your life, anything actually happens, you can come and talk to me. Of course, there are certain things you have to have consequences for, but at the same time, I'm your friend here. I'm the one who will help you, not your friend out there, Aisha or whoever else. I'm your friend, So this element, by the time they come to 18, 19, 20, and we've all been there, you don't want your children to get their ideas from some person out there. And it's okay for them to have friends and things like that, but you are their mentor. They can look at you and they say, look, I want to know more about this. And it only comes through trust, discipline, and friendship. In my case, if I can mention briefly, I've got 3 daughters. My 3 daughters, and apologies to actually bring it up, but briefly to actually make the point about this whole thing, because this takes a lot of investment, and parenting takes a lot of investment. My 3 daughters talk to me about menstruation, not their mother.
Oh.
Why? Because they can sit down and have a conversation with me. So that's where you really want to be able to actually come to, that they can feel so comfortable with you, whatever their problems are, whatever their challenges are, they can come and talk to you ultimately. So that's the 7, 7, and 7, ultimately how it comes together, that you're really nurturing them. This is not the way, 7, 7, 7 is not the way you somehow control or manage your children. That's not the point. It's about how do you come to a point that they are your friend, that they are part and parcel of a trusting relationship, rather than that's my parents, I only tell them half the story and I tell the other half the story to my friends or something like that. They can actually come and talk to you about it.